Timing is everything. Number 127. Welcome back. Today we'll be looking at the Gospel of John to see how Jesus maintained perfect timing in his obedience to the Father. So let's get started. John 7, 2-9. The Jewish Feast of Tabernacles was near, so Jesus' brothers said to him, "Leave here and go to Judea so that your disciples there may see the works you are doing. For no one who wants to be known publicly acts in secret. Since you are doing these things, show yourself to the world." For even his own brothers did not believe in him. Therefore Jesus told them, "Although your time is always at hand, my time has not yet come. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I testify that its works are evil. Go up to the feast on your own. I am not going up to this feast because my time has not yet come." Having said this, Jesus remained in Galilee. My thoughts. Have you ever noticed that Jesus always had this sense of impeccable timing? He reminded various people that his hour had not yet come. Once he even reminded his mom, John 2:4, here he is drawing a contrast between him and his brothers. He says their time is always at hand, but his was later. What's the difference? How does one know perfect timing? I think the answer is in the way Jesus lived his life. It was always in perfect alignment with the Father's will. He didn't do or say anything that was out of sync with his dad in heaven. Therefore Jesus answered and was saying to them, "Truly, truly I say to you, the Son can do nothing of himself, unless it is something he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, these things the Son also does in like manner." John 5:19. I can do nothing on my own initiative. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just because I do not seek my own will, but the will of him who sent me. John 5:30. For I did not speak on my own initiative, but the Father himself who sent me has given me a commandment as to what to say and what to speak. I know that his commandment is eternal life, therefore the things I speak just as the Father has told me. John 12:49-50. On the other hand, his brothers did what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. And quite frankly, that's the normal human way to do things. We want to do it our way, as the old song goes. And how's that working out for us? I like Jesus' way better, but to tell the truth, there are several things working against me. I like doing things my way. There are times when I'm not in close communication with God. I have an enemy tripping me up every chance he gets. People don't like when I do it God's way. And the list goes on. But as hard as it may be to resist the natural pull of self-centeredness and self-reliance, we have to keep fighting to remain aligned with God's purpose for our lives. As disciple makers, it is imperative that we learn to be on time, in sync, and under Jesus' authority as we live life and serve others. The only way to do that is by abiding deeply in him and becoming more and more like him. By the way, Jesus did end up going to the feast. John 7:10-13. Did he lie to his brothers? No, he was abiding in the Father, and he did what the Father told him to do when the Father told him to do it. So between the time of the discussion with his brothers and him leaving for Jerusalem, I'm sure the Father said, "Okay, now go to the feast." My story. When I left the army to pursue God's calling to leave the infantry to become a chaplain, I tried to speed things up. I wanted to fast-track my way through the 7 years of educational and pastoral experience. So I found a college and seminary that worked together that would use the first year of seminary as the senior year of college. That would essentially cut 7 years into 6. One problem: neither the army nor God liked that idea. The shortcut would rob me of some crucial and not-so-fun experiences that would make me a better chaplain and disciple maker. So in order to slow the process down, I believe God got creative. The medical examination done by the army exposed that I had a hearing loss so significant it eliminated me from any opportunity for active service. I was told by the Chief of Chaplain's office I would never be a chaplain. That was quite the blow, and more on the way I responded in another post. Needless to say, I was absolutely undone. I thought I had a clear calling from God. A year later, the National Guard wanted to promote me to Master Sergeant but couldn't because of my hearing profile. Unbeknownst to me, they held a medical review board and downgraded my profile so that the commander could promote me. I arrived at the monthly drill to receive congratulations that I was now Master Sergeant Wood. Ironically, the change in medical status was not only good for the National Guard's desire to promote me, but it also qualified me for candidacy to become an active duty Army chaplain. I applied and I was commissioned a first lieutenant a year later. Timing is everything. Our action plan. Now it's time for application. Here's some IDs. Do a life inventory and identify when you tried to speed things up or slow things down and God had other plans. Share your story with those you are discipling as a lesson on being in sync with God's perfect timing. Do a Bible study with those you are discipling on waiting on God. Aligning ourselves with God's perfect timing is challenging for so many reasons. But as we continue to seek His will in our lives and practice hearing His voice, we'll find ourselves in sync with His will at His time. Organic writing. No artificial intelligence or sweeteners added.